This promises to be a wild and crazy month. So in this video, February 2025, a psychic forecast, I'll share some of my top predictions. Is the Trump presidency in jeopardy? We'll talk about that also. And near the end, we'll discuss why this is such an intense month and things that you can do to stay safe and empowered while everything changes. So it's all in my notes. I'll be looking down a lot. So firstly, I'm seeing lots of changes starting with the economy. I want to say more of a reset than a crash. I was talking about a possible crash in February months ago. I think a lot's going to reset, so maybe more up and down than a crash. We'll hope for the best. We should start to see things level off, though, as the month progresses, especially towards the end of the month. We see changes in the housing market developing, new rules and regulations, planned tariffs may be adjusted or modified. By the time you see this video, we'll know if the tariffs went through because they're scheduled to start on February the 1st, the release date. We may see silver start to begin a significant rise this month or in March. Lots of ups and downs with the market. The Federal Reserve or some major banking industry may shut down. So that could be some big news in world banking and world finance to look out for. New cryptos or digital currencies are likely to be minted. Is that the right word? Or cyber minted, I guess. Or introduced. And somebody, I think maybe two people in top financial sectors, maybe the WEF or BRICS Plus. I think somebody may step down with that. We're seeing moves towards gold or metal-based currency, as well as the entire quantum financial system package. So we'll see moves and proposals in that direction, I believe. And income tax revisions, movement towards amending the federal income tax. I'm in the United States, I'm talking about the U.S., but you could relate to some of this in your country also if you're not American. 76% of you that watch these videos are in this country. We also see the AI revolution steps up into high gear. We see the Stargate agenda being challenged a lot. We see setbacks in the testing or development of cancer vaccines or other medical stuff. We see corruption being exposed on a grand level, more than we've seen before this month. And people are not going to know exactly what to think. There's going to be a lot of surprises in store this month. And, as I was doing, preparing my notes, I was seeing children a lot too. So I think there's going to be some new leads on child trafficking, the educational system coming under fire, reforms being requested. I'm seeing two people possibly arrested, detained, or indicted for crimes in the entertainment industry. That could be sports, Hollywood. I see cover-ups of the 2020 event that affected the whole world, and how it was handled, treated or mistreated. On that note, we see Fauci coming under a lot of fire, not just from the Russians, I want to say, and information on why an innocent man received a presidential pardon, basically, or so-called innocent man. Agendas behind weather modification, natural or man-made disasters coming to light, we see. Also, the silent revolution is taking shape, and we're going to see that in February to continue. The United States and possibly a lot of the world is currently in revolution, but we don't see it. What was that old song, that the revolution will not be televised? Why? Because it's underground. It's mostly in cyberspace. There's mostly freedom movements challenging the status quo, challenging the globalist movements and everything. So what else do we write? We don't see it on the physical battlefield so much. We see it in cyberspace and underground primarily. We see a lot of increases in solar flares beginning, probably very early in the month. That could mean unusual auroras in unusual places, basically. Possible regional blackouts or internet blackouts for that or other regions. I think New England and Eastern Canada be on guard for that. Seeing a lot of supply lines being interrupted, shortages in some sectors, controlling the price of goods, so sort of gouging the economy based on holding back supplies and stuff like that. Sky anomalies increasing, more news of drones, UAPs, UFOs, more news on the on fog or other incidences along those lines, and they've shown me like toxic clouds. I mean, that could be through volcanic activity in the west of the United States, or it could be something else. More about weather modification, truth versus the what's not true about the chemtrails and what they're about, and why that's happening, why that seems to have increased. On that note, lots of crazy weather this month. I mean, that's been going on anyways. Southeast tornado and flood. So I think we're going to see an early severe season in the southeast, maybe in the southern plains also. Feeling like a northeast blizzard coming maybe mid month to later month. Warmer in the south, but wetter in the south. Wetter and cooler in the west. In the United States, and remaining cold in the northern tier, cold in the northeast, but probably not as cold. Unusual snowstorms in Europe. You watch out Greece and maybe Italy for that. That just popped up in my mind. On that note, seismic activity increasing, unusual earthquakes, possible Pacific tsunami, possible quake off of like Baja California or that area. They've shown me around Italy. Mid-Atlantic region of the U.S., the southern plains suspect, but anywhere. Basically, the Earth, because the higher frequencies and for a lot of factors, increase in seismic activity, volcanoes, earthquakes in general, crazy weather in general, and yes, more fires in different places, all that stuff. I'm also seeing ancient ruins being uncovered in places like Antarctica with the melting glaciers. It might expose like ancient cities that are thousands of years old, or maybe tens or twenties of thousands of years old, that thrived in these regions that are not so hospitable right now. Continued finding of precious minerals in Greenland. They can help build technology. There's a lot of gold being discovered in Greenland also, and of course a lot of or some hands are trying to control Greenland. So there's always reason behind. When you're trying to discern conspiracy theory versus conspiracy fact, follow the money, who gets the power, who stays in control, who increases their control, and at least you'll have a good idea, what's going on. So Canada seeking more independence, tensions with U.S. building, their own political parties, tensions within them increasing. I want to say some news about Trudeau, or maybe some news about what's behind him stepping down starts to surface. Lots of stuff surfacing in mainstream news, exposing a lot of corruption all around, basically. Globalist movement becomes under fire. Trump presidency in jeopardy, right? Impeachment talks based on January 6th are likely to be tossed around there, I want to say. Proposed investigation on alleged voter manipulation. Two states came up. I think it was Nevada and Pennsylvania. I have it in other notes, but and yeah, we'll see. Timelines are fluid, and not everything that I say is going to happen to the letter, and we'll miss a few things. That's the nature of psychic forecast. But we're picking up on the energy. It's very volatile, it's very powerful, and it's huge changes, and it's the fall of the old structure, the unsustainable, corrupt structures, and the increased energy is hitting that, and it's creating a lot of stress and a lot of turbulence in the world. So that's the energy, and these predictions are sort of based on those energetic trends that we're experiencing. So back to Donald Trump. Musk comes under a lot of scrutiny, or more scrutiny. I think I skipped over something about Fauci, about farming, which would be more Bill Gates. A lot of stuff. I'm not hitting everything, but a lot of corruption, a lot of misdeeds are being exposed more and more as we go on. We see RFK accused of false information or backtracking on promises. We may see that with Donald Trump as also, and the support. the Trump supporters start to question things. That's another reason that the presidency may be in jeopardy. And so these are more or less just some of the top predictions. There's more. And like I said, timelines are fluid. Outcomes can change. The idea is if we raise our consciousness and the collective raises its consciousness faster than anticipated, it'll change some of these outcomes. People won't have to suffer as much. Things will happen more quickly. But it is the passage into our golden age of enlightenment. And a lot of change has to happen. The old has to tumble for the new to be rebuilt. So this is February in numerology is a universal number 11 month. The symbol in Chaldean numerology is the lion muzzles and clenched fists. This is overcoming the lower forces is what that symbolism means. And it's also very spiritual energy. So there's a lot of higher frequencies that are affecting the planet, more spiritual thinking, interjected into the collective. But it's our time to overcome whatever's holding us back, whatever our lower nature is, our addictions, our programming, patterns and whatnot, as well as that's happening on a global level, on a collective consciousness level. So it's a very powerful, and there's a lot of Pluto and Uranus and Aquarian influence. So it's really about surprises, sudden changes, fast changes, and overcoming the lower so we can rise up higher in our spiritual evolution, both personally as well as collectively. So things to stay safe in your power: step up your spiritual practice, do heart-brain coherence or related practices. I'll leave a video above on how to do that. You see, with all the electromagnetic frequencies that's increasing, part of the agenda of Stargate is building smart cities, which involves more EMF with the Gwen Tower, as well as Wi-Fi signals, cell signals. These radiations tear down our electromagnetic field, but the heart is the largest electromagnetic generator in the body. So if you build the heart, you build your fields, and you become resistant to negative radiation, electromagnetic radiation, as well as you become resistant to subconscious programming. You step more into your power. So heart-brain coherence or related practice. Do that. We talk about this all the time on the channel. I have a whole playlist on that also. Do your breath work, do your yoga, things that increase your magnetic field. Strengthen the nervous system, because all the pressures of society, as well as the higher frequencies affecting the planet, really affect and can be detrimental to our nervous system. So we do things like yoga, breath exercises, meditation to build up not only our nervous system, but our organs, our bodies, our cells, as well as our electromagnetic field. We want to increase chi, flow, and prana, yoga, qigong, tai chi, breath exercise, and getting out into nature. Nature restores. So when you feel a lot of stress or you're around Wi-Fi signals a lot, you go into nature for about 20 minutes. You're going to clear that, and it's going to help to restore your fields. So we want to offset all the stress of the fear-inducing programming, as well as the higher frequencies affecting the planet that causes shifts in our bodies, as well as our fields that can cause symptoms as we adjust to the higher frequencies. So these are tough changes, tough shifts, tough times, but it's our passage to new earth. It's a glorious time, so hang in there. A lot's going to happen. A lot of truths are going to be exposed. It's going to start to catalyze global changes. So if you're worried about what's happening in the U.S. with the administration, that's the coyote. That's what tricks us into learning. Whether you support him or against him, hang in there, because it's a process that needs to happen to expose a lot of stuff. I'm not saying he's consciously doing it. It may be for a completely different reason, but my feeling is this needs to happen. So if you want to deep dive into 2025, the full 90-minute video that was a live stream is right over here for you, where I go into a lot more detail, and I have a lot more predictions on this one. So if you're interested, check that out. I love you. See you at the next video. Namaste.